Okay, real quick, I was checking out a thread, there's a lot of them, where somebody was talking about, which course for X particular subject matter. And some of you've seen I have just come out with my latest Pillars of Jiu-Jitsu Half Guard Bottom series, 5-volume or 5 DVD series. And so I wanted to just address that question, because a lot of times people are asking, like, I want to do, say, Half Guard Bottom, what do you recommend? What's the course? And so let me give you a little thought process behind what I was doing, because what I feel like a lot of times is these are very style-specific instructionals. A lot of times you see somebody who is very good at one particular style of half guard, so they'll show their favorite sequences, their favorite positions that they like to work with within the broader subject of half guard. My approach is a little bit different, and I'll kind of elaborate on why I approach it this way. So first of all, I want to be talking about, from the bottom position, how it works, and how it works in all the different phases, right? So one thing, if you teach a particular half guard style, then it's to the exclusion of really how the game works from the bottom position based on the subtle differences, sometimes subtle, sometimes pretty broad differences between the different types of positioning and pressure that your partner can have on top, the different types of situations, okay? So broadly speaking, right, I want to know how to deal with this in terms of distance management from the bottom, right? So in other words, there's a big difference between if Arthur here was playing deep half guard, right? I actually, if you're looking for deep half guard, I would say right off the bat, don't get this instructional. But if he's playing deep half guard, can be very formidable for sport jiu-jitsu and grappling, horrible for self-defense. And I really wanted to make sure that whether somebody's doing sport or self-defense oriented half guard, that we have the distance management component in there so it will work equally well for either, and it's not limited to one particular style of play. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is, in terms of distance, there's a big difference between if Arthur here is already on his side, and I'm starting to say advance up his body like this, or are we talking about, is he flat and I'm already chest to chest, okay? So we need to be talking about all those different phases, because if he's got both shoulders, both hips on the floor, and then from there we want to talk about what's going on with the arm position. So that means both my arm position and my weight distribution, and also his arm position, because there's a big difference between, for instance, Arthur being here, right? And then just half guard me, right? And then me being tilted in this orientation, or me having my arm over and being here, or me having my arm over and being here, kind of sitting towards his legs. And then, is his arm on the outside? Does he have it in between us and here? Do I have a cross face or my arm over, or is he able to keep this off? And is my weight shifting more across the body here, or in my back with my head in this position, and so on and so forth. Because all those subtle shifts, again, there's many different variations, but the key component to that is, how does your body have to move in the various planes of movement that are possible? So as your opponent has a particular position on you, how does half guard work at that moment relative to that orientation between the two of you? How do I have to move, and how can I move? Because there's times, you might have seen my free video on bridging versus shrimping, or hip bump versus hip escape. There's times when one of those works more appropriately than others. And as you start to use one to initiate creating some space, building a connection, creating some space for your opponent, they shift a little bit. Now you have to be able to adapt on the fly without losing your position. So that's a lot of ground to cover, but I wanted to make sure that we could use, and I could articulate how half guard works with the largest broad concepts in terms of positioning of your body for optimal posture and leverage relative to all those situations, and also managing distance relative to how far up your body they are.
You know, if they're more heavy down at your hips, or they're already up chest to chest, and then where's your arm position? How is their body angled, which is going to affect their weight distribution, the placement of their legs. All these things dictate what's available to you. So I'm trying to make sure that we can cover all that, give you the most possible mileage with this. And this is going to be physical principles based rather than specific techniques based. So once you understand all these things, we can actually take all these variables and simplify the game based on just a few criteria. So you'll be able to really use a set number of concepts to address every different type of top, position, pressure, and then we add offense to that. So hopefully that's helpful in terms of thinking about the approach, and we'll talk to you guys soon. So let's go.
I'll be like 300.